This is the Internet of Unintended Consequences. This is my friend Tom.
And my friend Deb.
And we are here continuing our month's theme, which is everything robotics. Robotics, AI, technology, all of that good stuff. What's the theme that we're going to be talking about in this video?
We're going to talk about robots and the future of work.
Oh, great. Well, if you've been following our book club, we actually have two books that are relevant to this topic. One of them is Rise of the Robots, and the other is
Humans are underrated.
And you can tell which of us is cynical by the books that we picked for this month, right? But let's talk about this idea. What's going on? Why are people talking about this issue of robots and work?
Well, they're taking our jobs for one thing. You know, we see it really in blue-collar jobs and in lesser skilled jobs. Receptionists, it's hard to call a company and get someone who answers the phone anymore. You get an answering machine.
Press one, press two.
You go to the grocery store and there are scanners and options of scanners instead of a person checking you out, and the same in the big box stores. So we're starting to see more and more where robotics, even though we may not think of them as robots, are really taking jobs. Technical jobs, like my job with Cox newspapers, has really been replaced by technology.
And yet, I know when you talk about Cox, there's also the other side of why they're successful.
Exactly. Cox Enterprises started out as a newspaper company with a $25,000 investment in 1898, and they're now doing $17 billion a year in annual gross revenues. And their growth, other than always hiring really smart people
like you,
like me, is the fact that they kept embracing technology. Every time communications technology changed, they embraced that technology. When it went from newspapers, print newspapers, then radio came along, and then television, digital, cable, they kept embracing technology. And I just think that's so important. And we are adaptable as people. We can adapt as technology changes the way we live, work, and play. So I am optimistic.
You're optimistic about that. And I understand, we can see the business standpoint from Cox that if they embrace the technology, they can become more successful. Part of that is lowering costs, which meant that they got rid of some of their employees. And I think that some of the arguments that we hear about this potential crisis, right, is this idea that workers are consumers, and that, the only way that we can consume is if we get wages so that we can buy things. And if these technologies start producing everything, products and services, then we're left without jobs, without money. We can't buy these things. What's going to happen to us?
Our children.
Our children.
Our children. I think our children are going to take care of us sooner than we expected. Because they embrace technology. They love it, and they're going to define the future. And I think they're going to define the future of work in ways that we really can't understand. That technology is changing so fast that I think they will create the kinds of jobs that we really can't even imagine right now.
So are you like channeling Dr. Ayanya Howard from Georgia Tech? Listen to our radio interview with her where she says, trust the younger generations. They'll work this out for us.
I am definitely embracing what she said, because I still go back to what she said about children and calculus and robots. And she said, just ask your young children if they want to go study calculus and watch their eyes roll back in their heads or whatever. But ask them if they want to go build a robot. And they'll knock you down getting to the classroom to get there. So their young minds see this so differently than we do, and they're growing up with it. We grew up in an entirely different generation, and they're growing up in a generation where they hold a phone in their hands, and it's really a computer, and they learn to punch that power button and then slide to get to another screen. They don't quite know what to go from there when they're 1.5 or 2 years old, but I think it's so adaptable for them. It's so intuitive that it'll be fun to watch the world they create.
That's an interesting way to put it. The world that they create, the way that they redefine work, the way that they might redefine jobs that we have no idea what those jobs look like now.
Exactly.
Right? Because we only know our past, we know our experience with technology, the good, the bad, and the ugly. They, having not gone through some of that, have a lot of hope and optimism about the future. And so, we have these economists like Martin Ford and G.F. Colvin and talking about some of these potential crises with robots and a jobless economy as they were talking about. But maybe what it is about trusting the younger generation with this. And I know we've mentioned that before. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. What are your thoughts on this? Please share with us. The hashtag for this month is IoUC robots, and check us out on Facebook because we have questions and polls and quizzes coming up about this important topic. And how do you feel about robots and the future of work?
Please let us know
at www.tiouc.com, the Internet of Unintended Consequences. My friend Tom.
And my friend Deb.
Have a great day.